girl. We see you. Yes. So, hello, beautiful people. This is PrimroseCamera.com. And so, for those who have been asking, you wanted the view like this and not like this, LaQuana did it. So we will say that we are live and in living color. I am so happy to be with you, my sister. Today being Tuesday, you know I'm super excited. We're here. You're there. We're staying connected each and every Tuesday. Although next week, well, I may have a little surprise for you. I'm just saying. A little surprise next week. Little surprise. But today, so I like to kind of be honest, truthful, right? And so in the midst, I know you get nervous. So in the midst of everyday living, in the midst of everyday happiness lies the struggle, you know. The other day I did my regular checkup and I'm saying to the doctor, gosh, it's just hard to be a woman, right? Definitely. In addition to what we have to do day in, day out, there's so much going on. Yes. You got to check this, check your temperature. Just let me check your heartbeat, your heartbeat.
Checking everything.
Yeah, you got to do all this extra stuff and then check it every 3 months, check it every 6 months, and don't forget to come every year. I mean, it's just a lot, you know.
A lot of checking up.
Yeah, okay. To be a woman. Now, I've never sat around with a man telling me about his checkup every 3 months, every 30 days, you know. I mean, really. So, all in all, I say that to say it's hard to be a woman. I'm just saying. Yes. And on top of that, you know, I've been carrying my very large bag, and it's been a running joke.
I think that's like a suitcase. That ain't no purse. That's bigger than a bag.
Yes.
That's like a carry-on for the plane.
Listen, and Frontier won't take it. They'll probably make me pay more. But let me tell you, the thing with that bag is that it really represents our everyday life. And so today, ladies and gentlemen, we have live and live in color, the one and only evangelist LaQuana Glass in the house. Yes. And so I am so super excited, uber excited to be your host for the What's in Your Bag.
I'm excited about that.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. So I don't know if you're booked already on January 11th, but FYI, clear your books. But we wanted to stop by today, and we kind of wanted to talk about that. Like, I mean, the intensity of being a woman. I literally realize everything that we deal with. One, because I carry this heavy bag every day, but it has everything I'm doing. Right. Every single thing. And
then some.
Yeah. And the guy, I see him just take out his little wallet. You're like, do you have tissue? I ain't got none. Do you have peppermint? I ain't got none. Right? So we have everything.
We got to be prepared. Right.
For the children, for the husband, boyfriend, mate, all this extra stuff. So you know, let's talk about that. What do we do when the load is heavy?
Wow. I mean, truth be told, like, you know, I say that carrying baggage on a daily basis, women carry like we carry our purses.
Right.
And we get loaded down with all of these things, and just like our purse, we put more and we put more and we put more stuff in there, and a lot of times we carrying stuff that we don't even realize we carrying, and we get burdened down and it gets heavy. We don't know why it's heavy. We're not paying attention to what we carrying, and then half the time we carry other people's stuff too, right?
Oh Lord. With back pain and now you got to go to the chiropractor and you got to get more checkups.
Yes. We carry other people's stuff and don't even know we carrying it.
Yeah.
And then you know how you have stuff in your purse and you dig down in your purse and that candy that you done probably had in there from the beginning, and you pull it out and you don't know what it is.
Right.
That's the same thing as far as emotional baggage. Sometimes we carrying stuff and we don't even know what it is. We don't know where it came from. We don't know where the root started. Yeah. So we got to dig deep to find out what that thing is.
And then you got to start dumping some of that. You know, I tell people all the time, and, you know, my hashtag no offense. Shout out to Derek. You know, hashtag no offense.
Yes.
Where I started walking the room and I started the conversations in that way, right? Like, hashtag no offense, but. And let me tell you why that's so important. I don't want any more baggage. Right. Like I'm good. You know, like that's what my son says. Ma, I'm good.
Right.
Like I have enough. I've been through enough. I don't want anything additional. So unless it is of happiness and of goodness, return to sender. I'm sorry. I don't. If you don't have the receipt.
But how many women do that?
Yeah.
Oftentimes
that's what we're telling you.
we hold on and keep holding on and keep holding on to things. We don't let stuff go.
Yeah.
Because we too busy worrying about, are we doing the right thing? Are we enough? Are we a good enough mom? Are we a good enough wife? Even in ministry, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? All of this stuff is baggage that we carry on a regular basis. And a lot of times people feel guilty to say no.
And so here's the thing. This is where there's no guilt in my parenting or in my living. Let me tell you. And it's interesting because Kamika and I had a conversation about, and I started thinking like things that maybe I don't do because I'm afraid of, because someone may say.
Right.
The may say folks. I don't know if you're out there. May says, are you out there? But the may say folks, right, stops or stifles a lot of the things that we could be doing. And so we just add that on into these bags, right? And so the bags become heavier and they become heavier and they become heavier. Right. So, you know, in my book, I can't wait till these things finish. We need to put all these together.
Yes.
But in chapter 1, I remember it very vividly because I kind of went through like this metamorphosis, right, of self that said Primrose release, right? Because I was carrying like my 20s. I can't even fit jeans that I used to. I don't know if you can, but I can't fit.
Wait a minute. Really?
Yes, I don't.
Come on now.
I can't fit jeans for my 20s, so why am I carrying that with me?
Right.
In my 40s, right? I mean, yeah, maybe I can fit those shoes, but heck, I don't even wear the shoes of nice high heels and that I would wear in my 20s. So I had to start looking at that, right? The same thing with bags. There are certain things that I don't use anymore.
Right.
And one of those things is all of that baggage I was carrying.
Right.
And so I had to sit around and I take a lot of time for self. So I don't know about you guys and shout out whether you do or don't, but I like me. Like I started liking me, right? I don't know what you guys like, but I like me, right? So there was a point though I didn't.
Right. And I think we all have been through that at some point.
Right. And so I had to work through that. So tell me, what are some ways, LaQuanta, that you can work through some of that stuff so you don't bring it into the next decade?
First and foremost is prayer. That's the first place I'm gonna go, because in anything that I'm dealing with, God knows the root of what I'm going through. He knows why I'm going through it, and I may not even know at that time. So first and foremost is to pray, and you ask God for guidance, and you asking God for direction, but not just pray and sit back like some people think God is a magic eraser. They want him to come and just erase it, but that's not the case. He will send people your way. He will send certain things in your pathway for you to say, okay, this is what I need to work on, and to take those steps. One of the biggest things that I realize that women deal with is looking at themselves in the mirror and accepting who they see. You have to look yourself in the mirror and realize, okay, we all flawed. I got flaws and all of that, but loving me genuinely for who I am. Saying no unapologetically. That's a big thing.
Say it again.
Not feeling shameful to say no. Like, I should be able to say no and you not make me feel bad because I said no. Because there's a reason behind my no. And I find that a lot of women, deal with saying it's hard for them to say no. But being able to do things, taking those steps to do things on your own, self-reflection on a day-to-day basis, not, okay, I'm fine, in autopilot, and then something happened and you trying to figure out, well, how did I get here? Well, yeah, you got there because you was in autopilot and you waiting for something, waiting for something to go wrong. You got to do self-reflection on a day-to-day basis, intentional self-reflection. Okay, what is it that I need to work on? Where is it that I need to grow? Where can I be better? And you take those steps. Journaling is a great thing to write about. You write on a day-to-day basis regardless of how you feel. Good, bad, indifferent, up, down, depressed, but work through it. And also, for me, no matter how bad the situation is, no matter what, you depressed. And a lot of us get depressed and want to be up under that cover. We don't want to cover. Put your feet on the floor and get up every day, no matter what, because as long as you press through, God is going to grow you through the process. So for me, most importantly, is just trusting God with the process. And he says, if you give your burdens to me, I'll take care of them. A lot of times we want to fix ourselves. We want to fix this and fix that and fix this. But if we trust God with it, he going to take care of it. And we ain't got to worry about it. We ain't got to stress about it. Okay, God, I know you got me. Because if I give it to him and I say, Lord, I need you to take care of this for me. Lord, I had this problem. Lord, show me the way. Give me guidance. And then as soon as I get up, now I'm saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. You didn't, the very thing you prayed for, you didn't just took back. So how can God take care of it? Yeah, if you didn't, that means you didn't truly release it. We have to truly release it and say, God, I trust you with whatever you're doing. But knowing that even going through that process is not going to be easy. It's some growing pains. It's just like, for instance, when I broke my ankle a few years back, there was a process. Right, broke ankle. I had to wear a cast. Coming out of the cast, and went from a cast to a boot. I had to learn how to walk all over again. I had to do certain exercises, the rehabilitation. It hurt, but through the process, it made me stronger. So a lot of times, our process is hurtful, and we don't want to deal with the true reality of who we are. Because there's some things that have to be cut away. There's some things that have to be stripped away. So if you are the type of person that allow yourself to be in toxic relationships, you got to be willing to cut that away, because now you got to deal with yourself. Why am I dealing with these toxic relationships? Of course.
You know someone said ouch.
Of course. We can't keep walking around dealing with toxic relationships. Or if you've been molested, if you've been raped, taken advantage of, have been through abuse, a lot of times we take that and we're going to put that in the bag. I'm not going to talk about it.
Heavier. Yeah.
You're dealing now with fear. You're dealing with shame, anger, resentment. And then you wonder why your relationships are not working. Whether it's an intimate relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, whether it's a family relationship. The relationships are not going to work because you have all of these things going on that's hindering you from who you really are and having that real connection with people.
You know, the craziest thing, Laquan, and I know someone said ouch. At some point, someone has said ouch. The craziest thing, so, like, the visual part of me says, listen, when I go on a trip, I pack my bag. When I come home, I unload it.
Yes.
Right? Like, I have to release it. So that's why it was so important for me not to bring my 30s even. Right. Into my 40s. Right? I know I call it 22. Thank you. But
I don't want the 30s.
Right?
I love my 40s.
40s, right. And so I had to release it. Like, although I knew stuff had occurred, and I knew there was some hurt there, and there was a lot of stuff, like that big baggage backpack inside of the suitcase, inside of the duffel bag, like all of that.
The bag packed inside the bag, packed inside the bag. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm Jamaican, so inside of a barrel, right? Like everything, right? Like all of that stuff was going on. Right. And I had to say, from us, like, this does not look good.
No, it's not going to work.
Like, at some point, you have to say, this is not for me, right?
Right.
And that means through that process, and here's the hurtful part, it's just like your yard sale. It's some good stuff, but you can't keep all of it. So there's some people that are really good people.
Right.
You just can't bring them into 2019. Right? They're like some really good people.
They're good people, but not good for you.
Yeah. And maybe you're not good for them.
Right.
Right? At the same time. And maybe they are a reminder of the baggage.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And you don't want to carry that.
No.
And they're not ready to release what they know. They're a reminder.
Right.
So that means they can't go with you as well. Right? That's the ouch. Right? Maybe you catch up with them Thanksgiving. I'm a Thanksgiving, Christmas time of person. I show up in the location, but then you leave again because I want to be current me.
Like, let me give you an example of something I went through. Like, not too long ago. I had a friend. Yeah. We grew up together.
Oh, wow.
And so we was, we was close.
Yes.
And so the friend showed up. Mm-hmm. And we hadn't seen each other in years.
Not a holiday.
And I'm just like, no, it had been years. Oh, okay. And I was like, this is my sister. I love her. Yes. And our first conversations that she brought up is remember when we was kids. Yeah. Remember this one. Remember when we did that. Yeah. And it took me back to a place in my life that was not good. Yeah. It took me back to old relationships that, okay, I'm married. Why are you bringing this stuff up? Right. Why are we talking about that? We not kids anymore. And I mean, we were friends from middle school.
Oh, wow.
So this was like old stuff. And I started to think, why am I entertaining this stuff? Because it's starting to pull me down. It's starting to make me feel some type of way. And then I realized, like, no, this is not good. Like, I love you, but I'm realizing you're not good for me because you're still stuck in an era that I'm past and graduated and had kids and went into the military and got married.
Your child's in the military.
Yes.
Like,
Why? And I realized that, you know, it came a point that the relationship was severed. But I realized in the relationship being severed, it did hurt. But also at the same time, I realized, well, wait a minute, we wasn't good for each other. Because it was bringing too many old things up that didn't need to be brought up. And if I've truly moved beyond that, because God has saved me and allowed me to move beyond that, why are we still talking about that? Why are we still holding on to that? And it's hard when it's somebody that's that close to you.
But that may be
because you still want to hold on to them.
Yeah, and shout out to Tanya and shout out to Tina. Hey, just living in the current me. But sometimes what happens is that's all y'all have.
That's it,
right?
And that's all it was.
Yeah, and maybe that's someone again. That's Thanksgiving and Christmas, but maybe not during the spring, right? Yeah, and that's so hard because you know I'm like pro sisters build.
Yes.
Let's make this movement, but at the same time, I am the first one to say if it's not good for you. Then
you gotta let it go.
Yeah, you gotta let it go.
You have to let it go.
Yeah, it's not good for you. You gotta take it out the bag, right? You can't keep it in the bag. Eventually, that stuff got to come out. Just like when you cooking turkey, that stuff may be good. You can't keep it in the turkey and you're cooking. It's in a bag. You can't take that. Even I know that. You know. Okay. All right. So I do want to talk about. But even I know that.
Really?
Y'all know I can't cook. Look, you know. The first turkey I ever cooked, that stuff was in the turkey.
But I'm still waiting to come to your house
and get some. You know, it was curry chicken this week. Yeah, once a week, girl, once a week. So I do want to talk about a couple things that I know some of my friends. Hey, shout out to LaQuetta. What's going on? Yay! Thanks for joining. I do want to talk about a couple things that folks deal with. And, you know, I'm the first one who says I cannot quote anything from the Bible, but God knows, you know, you say God knows my heart, right? But he knows that I live in the struggle, but I try to the best of my ability, follow in his path for me, right? Like I really try. And times I slip because there's no perfection over here. She don't live in Orange City. She probably live. Well, they maybe live in Deltona or something, but I but for me, right, they probably live somewhere else, my nice gated community, but I live in unincorporated probably, so it's not me. But so here's the thing, right? What do we do with like certain things such as like spirit of rejection and spirit of like fear and different things that we try to avoid those, because I feel like that's kind of baggage as well, right?
Oh, it's definitely
dealing with
baggage.
These things. So what do we do with stuff like that? Like for me, let me just give you an example, because y'all know I'm like as transparent as can be. I know my mother probably cringes. Wait until I see her and I let her watch videos. But here's the thing, because she doesn't have Facebook. I got to show her later. So here's the thing, like I oftentimes I'm afraid of having to depend on people, right? Because I feel like, I don't know, maybe they ain't gonna come through, right? And then I end up with all this stuff to do, or I'm like going, right? When I could have really released some of it, right? And hashtag maybe men, but anyways, so, right? Not so much as with women. I know that's horrible, right? I don't know. That probably is a daddy thing, but yeah. So what do you do with that? Because that's baggage too.
It's definitely baggage. Okay, first of all, we got to understand the different spirits you're dealing with. So we're talking about the spirit of fear. If God does not give us the spirit of fear, then why are we allowing it to control us? We are allowing fear to put us in bondage to keep us from moving forward. But if we truly trust and lean on God, who does not give us the spirit of fear, you can't have God in fear at the same time.
Yeah.
Because God gives you a confidence, unlike any confidence that you could ever have. So when you know, for instance, if your flaw is trusting people, because that's really, you dealing with trust and you dealing with fear. Most of the time, if a person is dealing with trust, that's because somebody has did them wrong, have left them hanging. They've put something in their hands that was important, and they let it fall. So now the mindset is, well, I'll just do it myself. I don't know if I can trust you. And the funny thing about it is the person that they're looking at saying that I don't know if I can trust you, they're not even the one that fumbled.
Yeah, they weren't even there.
Yeah, it wasn't even them.
The decade.
Now you're not even giving them a chance. So now you're in prejudgment of somebody. So it can be, it just builds. This is how you add in baggage. And so when we say, okay, God, you have this task that you have given me. You have given me a vision to follow this out. Now, Lord, now I'm asking you to put those people in the pathway that help me with this vision. God, I'm going to trust you. And when God sends them to you, if you're truly in alignment with God, you'll know that he sent them to you. Now you just got to say, okay, God, hands off. I'm going to let you do it. I'm going to take my hands off of it. If you say that this person is in this place to do this, then Lord, I'm going to be obedient to what you're asking me to do. Now, if they fumble, the question is, what did you learn from it? The first thing shouldn't be, well, I already knew that it was going to be messed up anyway, because then now you have doubt. You've doubted what God could do. And a lot of times things happen for us to grow and learn from, because we're not perfect. And it's for God to strengthen us through the process. And if we understand that it's a strengthening process, so even if people come along and they fumble something, you just evaluate it, you reevaluate it and say, okay, how could I have done it differently? Not go directly into that, let me put myself back in this box.
Go back where you came from.
Okay, let me go high.
Right.
You know, when we dealing with the spirit of rejection, it hinders us from having relationships with people, work relationships, or just letting people get close to us, period. I don't want to be friends with anybody because if I let them get too close, then they're going to reject me. So it's easier for me to reject me for you.
To protect you from you.
Yeah. But how is that supposed to work? Because even in this walk with Christ, we're supposed to engage with one another. We're supposed to interact with one another. Now, there's a difference when you see somebody coming and, you know, it's the obvious.
That's it that you got to run.
They know good. But when you truly working on self, because everything that we deal with is internal. And you have to ask God, Lord, I need you to remove the spirit of rejection. I need you to remove the spirit of distrust. I need you to remove the spirit of doubt. And understand when he begins to remove those things, it's self-reflection all the time, because you got to look at who you are. A lot of times it's easier to look at somebody else and blame somebody else. Well, because I let you do this, it's your fault that I feel like this. No. It's self. It's how do you grow? Because truly the word is not there for us to point out other people's faults. The word is there to be a mirror for us. It's so that when we look at it, are we reflecting the God that's in this word? Is God inside of us? Because a lot of times, a lot of things that we deal with other people is just a mere reflection of who we are. Because if somebody else fumbles something, are you loyal? Are you trustworthy? Have you ever fumbled anything? Because a lot of times we even go into the mind of perfectionism. Well, I've never done that, and I would have never done you like that. You may not have done that person like that, but you may have done somebody else like that. So we have to understand also that nobody's perfect.
Oh, that's true. Because they could the cycle. That's true.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. We are all flawed. And so, when that person fumbles something that you've given them, instead of beating them down or cutting them off, talk to them. You have to learn how to be vulnerable with somebody and say, hey, this is what, this is where I am. This is where I have a hard time. And if you communicate, because the biggest problem that we have is communicating. We don't communicate.
However, if they show you who they are.
Yes. You believe them.
You believe them. If they show you, that's the only thing. Now, they may trick you, but if they are showing you, like the mask is off, then make a run for it, like the marathon. But I do want to say, as we go, I'm sorry, I just started thinking about this. I was like, oh, no. Yes. Yeah, you have to, right? Because eventually you have to protect yourself. But what I love, because I spoke to a student today, and she shared that one of her friends were they were mad at her, but then they talked it through. I was like, yes, Sisters Build is working. Yay, you know. So when you're 10, 11 years old and you're working through stuff at that age, then I feel good in knowing that as you get older, you can do the same. But if they show you ahead of time, yeah, you should run. Yeah, definitely.
But if you're walking in alignment with God, the spirit of discernment is going to show up, and the Lord is going to show you. Let me tell you just real quick, and I'm, one thing I asked God was that I was around a group of women, and I asked the Lord, I said, Lord, show me their heart. Now, when I asked him to show me their heart, I had no idea what he was going to show me. He took me beyond the mask. He took me into the spirit realm to show me who they were in the spirit, and what I saw was not what I expected to see. But what it did for me is allowed me to pray for them. So instead of saying, okay, I don't want to be bothered with you because you ugly in the spirit.
Believe them.
Let me pray for you. Let me pray. And, and they didn't need to know that I was praying for them. But I prayed for them, for God to begin to change the heart. Because the heart intentions of a person, the heart posture is where we need to get to. Because what you think is one thing, but your heart posture, where is your heart at?
Totally different.
Yeah, different.
Hashtag release. Yes. I'm big on hashtag release. But I do want to, before we close today, because this particular topic is near and dear to my heart. Like, we could talk about it for days and not leave the chair, actually, because there is so much so many things going on with women, right? And as I'm meeting with women, you're coaching women, I'm coaching women, I'm being coached, all of these things are occurring. There's a level of struggle that is out there, and the same women are, like we said, taking care of homes, families, businesses, all of these things. Eventually, I mean, any human would be tired, right? Yes. I mean, you're human.
Woe down.
Yeah, woe down. Yeah, like eventually, you want a little air, a little fresh air at least. Goodness, every once in a while.
Need to breathe.
Yeah, you want to go outside and have clear nostrils. So we have January 11th coming up. I am so excited. I'm excited. Let me tell you, I'm so excited, LaQuanda, because you have birthed, right, this part of your vision, because I know her mind runs in so much. She's like me, right? This is how we get along so well. Like, our minds go, we're visionaries like this, right? And so it's hard, then we have to narrow it down. But when you put a stamp of approval on something and say, we're going to move forward in his name, there's no pulling back. Just FYI, right? No, it's not like fishing. Back. You ain't pulling up the rod. I mean, I don't really know how you fish, but I'm assuming somebody goes like this. I don't know. I don't know, right? All these examples that I don't really know, but I can only imagine. So in that, let's talk about January 11th, what to expect, and what do we need to do.
So, I'm so excited about January 11th, because when the Lord dropped this in my spirit, first of all, it scared me. I'm not going to even, I was like, Lord, dude, what? What's in your purse? Baggage? Really? Because that meant that I had to release some baggage. He made me reflect on, because before I can begin to teach somebody else, I got to deal with my stuff. So when he gave it to me, and I was like, okay, Lord, and then things started, playing out, and I was like, okay. So, January 11th, what's in your purse? The first half of it, we're going to go into a conversation, not just a regular panel discussion. What I want people to see is women coming together as if they're sitting in their living room having a conversation about the things that they've been through. And they're going to share from every perspective of their life what they've gone through, how God has brought them through it, the steps that they took. And some of these women are still going through their process.
Current time.
And the beautiful thing about it is I have met with each woman individually. Oh, wow. And so every woman has actually poured into me while I had the meeting. And we've shared tears. Some shared stories that they had never shared with anybody. And so the fact that these women are taking a step and have the courage to come forward and say, I'm going to share something that I've never told anybody before. And I'm going to share it amongst people that I don't know. Like, that is beyond me. That is beyond them. That is greater than anything. That's nobody but God. Because first of all, we don't like telling our stuff to people we don't know. And the fact that these women are saying, okay, I'm willing to share. So to me is yes, definitely a lot of transparency in the room. And then that's the first half. And then the second half, of course, you know, is the preaching part of it, which the Lord, you know, told me I needed to be the one to do it, and I wasn't going to do it. I was looking for somebody else to do it.
She always looking for somebody else.
I am. But the Lord told me, okay, you're doing this. And so I said, okay, God, I'm going to be obedient, because I'm all about being obedient, because obedience is better than sacrifice. Yeah. And I know what the sacrifice is like. And so with that being said, like, I'm really excited for January the 11th. And God is birthing this thing past just the one day. He's already showed me next year. Right. So I'm super, super excited. I'm super excited for the women that are going to come out. We're actually going to have childcare available. Yes, so, like, I'm excited for that.
So we cannot say we can't come because we have our children.
There's no reason that you can't come, because childcare be available.
Is there any cost? What are we looking at?
It is free. All I need people to do is register. Just register. And you're going to go to www.wiyp2019.eventbrite.com to register for free. Wow. And we're also looking for vendors.
Yes. Okay.
So
sponsorships, vendors.
Sponsorships, definitely.
I wrote that in the article today, so that should come out, you know, this week for the Beacon. But we're looking for vendors, sponsorships. So please contact Sisters of Faith, right?
Yes.
What's the email?
The email is sof.founder@gmail.com.
So here's the thing, guys. There's no excuse.
None.
That's another hashtag within itself, right? There's no excuse. Ladies, if you're in any form of a struggle, if you said, you know what, I'm at a certain age, I can't find friends, I don't know who to connect with.
Right.
Those folks normally, I mean, I know we're in social media age and all that stuff, so I've met some folks online and things like that. I've really never met a stranger. Right. I will say not everybody loves me, right? You're either in between, either really like me or love me and maybe not, you know. There's not really, I'm really funny with grace, so there's not too many of those folks. However, maybe there's someone that's not like me in the group that you connect with. Like, I love platforms that allow you to connect with some other folks. And so you will have the opportunity to do that on January 11th. And heck, it costs nothing.
There's no reason not to come. And also, because what I've come to understand is most people have these conferences, right? And you have people that want to give their life to Christ. You have people that go through this experience, this release experience. And then once the conference is over, we're done. But what God has dropped in my spirit is that we're putting together a prayer team. That for those who need somebody to pray with them even after the conference, that they'll have people to reach out to that can walk them through the process and help them to the next level. Because how can you come and release and then walk out, and then what do you do with it after that?
And here's the other thing. So you don't have to be of a particular faith.
No.
Right? You don't have to be a member of a particular church.
Not at all.
At church at all. And maybe only drive by churches. I mean, I've been there, done that. I mean, like, real talk, right? Like, I ain't going to go in there. Them people going to talk about me. Like, I'm tired. I could get talked about at Publix, you know? So maybe that's not where you are, but you do, or you're searching for a place, right? Now, I will say, guys, we love you. This is just not the right event. Right, so we have called a few good men and some things that are going on, but for Sisters of Faith, with LaQuanna's leadership, we just hope to take lives and souls to other levels, with God's coverage. And so I'm excited. I'm just thankful that you even thought of a person like me to be a part of this ministry and this movement, because there's work to be done, and we know it because we hear from women all the time. And I'll share the other thing, because some folks ask this, well, how are you able to offer all of this? You know, what stance is your life in to be able to be that person? Now, don't know, maybe you've heard of some folks like Iyanla Vanzant and Oprah.
Not
and all.
Iyanla, and I ain't Oprah.
But if you've heard what I love about them, and Michelle Obama, spoke the other day, what I love about them is there's some real folks who had some real issues that worked through some stuff to get to where they are today. And so we're just here in West Volusia doing the best that we know how. I am just supporting the movement that Evangelist Gasser has taken to an all-new level. And I'm excited about that. So I want to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Because we know there's work to be done. We also have a few shout-outs, right? So I'm excited about Kamika Kane taking it to another level. Yes! On February 3rd with the Curly Fest. I don't know about you, but I know about me. She's going to take some things to some other level in the area of hair care, right? How we feel about the way that we look, our hair, inside, outside, just all that stuff. Now remember, we deal with a lot of stuff. So all of that stuff on February 3rd. So again, if you want to connect, hey Robin. So hopefully, Robin, I hope you connect. Now is the time, right? Just let's jump on board with these initiatives that we have January, February. I'm telling you, sisters build. I just love what we really build. Like I don't know about some other folks, but we have truly honed in on what it means to come together and stay connected. And so that's exciting. So we have January, February. For those who are in the Fort Lauderdale area, shout out to Sanit, because we actually will have Sistersville Brunch in Fort Lauderdale coming up, right? We're still working on the conference in Canada. We're trying to work out some details, right? Yeah, we got some things to do. We have Jamaica next year, right, with my annual Easter egg hunt in the month of March, and I'm working with Spicy Grove Youth Center, so I can't wait for that. Just some great things. And, Princess Primrose is out. You heard it here first. But yeah, so we can just jump on board. We just have so many great things. Hopefully you checked out Anne Marie's book already. She's just doing some things. Make way for Renee. And let's pour into our children. Shout out to Elizabeth Roy today. I was able to visit her school. It was really good to just be back in a classroom and connect with the youth and talk about whether or not failure is optional, right? And we think that, once we fail, well, that's it, then we can give up. Well, that's the case. We take naps now, but there's still more work to be done, right? So shout out to the Sean Kings of the world who attended as well. And Janice Rivera did her things, just talking about choices, and your choices have consequences, whether good or bad. Right. So there is so many things that we can do, and we're so much better together than we are apart. And shout out to Mitzi's First Impression Hair Salon. Now, if you want peace and tranquility, check out Mitzi Kane and Kamika Kane. I will tell you that they are the humblest beings, and just so full of peace. And then they work on your hair, and you walk out looking like a miracle. So you can't get any better than that. Now, when I hang out with women, this is what it looks like. Yes. So if you want to hang out with some other folks and you're not really into positivity and stuff, then we're probably not the group. Yeah, we're probably not, right?
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, there's some other places, right? They're not really in my contact list, but they're somewhere. But let me just change real quick. However, November 28th, we will be meeting at Perkins in Orange City. So please come check us out at 6 p.m. Sisters Build will meet there. We're winding down to the year, but we're just excited to be in one another's presence, share what we have going on. And then I invited myself, by the way, on November 18th, Kamika Kane. She thought she was going to do like the whole event in Palm Coast. And I was like, oh, me too, right? So we have events in Palm Coast. So shout out to LaToya, who's leading those events. There's just so much going on.
It's a lot.
You cannot say on any given day that there is not somewhere to be and something to do. Right. And if you just want to sit around and you just want someone to love on you or to hear you, call us as well. Because we're here, right? And people need people. That's so as always, I'm PrimroseCameron.com. And you heard it here first, guys. Talk to you later. LaQuanda Glasser,
Yeah.
Check us out. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.